This production comes to you in association with the Bluebell Warrington. Situated in an 18th century building in the town centre and just a 5-minute walk from the HJ Stadium, the Bluebell is the perfect destination for pre- and post-game food and drink. The 2024 Warrington Pub of the Year is now the official home of Super League Raw on Warrington World Match Days for both home and away supporters. Super League Raw are delighted to have agreed a members-only area, allowing our community to come together to discuss Rugby League pre- and post-match. So set your course to the Bluebell Warrington on match days and beyond. You are sure to be greeted with a warm welcome and a cold beer. Super League Raw and the Bluebell, the perfect partnership in enhancing your match day experience. Well, we're back and we're live, Super League Raw Weekly. We hope you enjoyed last week's show. Of course, Mount Rushmore was a great conversation that we had before I went away, but we're back. We're live. We're interactive. Hello to everybody in the chat already. Craig Forth, Dawn, Kirby Cattler, Collier, Nigel Wood, Nigel Bennett. They're all in there. Keep your comments coming in throughout the show. We'll give you as many shout-outs as we possibly can. And for the first time tonight ever, we're live on LinkedIn. It's a brand new dawn for us, a brand new audience. So if you're watching us for the first time on LinkedIn, welcome to the most passionate group of people in Rugby League today. We are full to the brim of passion for this great game that we call Rugby League. And hopefully you will become a part of Super League Raw. Great titles as always. Thanks everybody who continues to send us photos of them enjoying the great game of Rugby League and meeting the players. Keep sending us those photos. You, of course, are the stars of the show on Super League Raw Weekly. Good evening to Joel, Steph and Reggie. How are we, boys?
Good evening. Very well, thank you.
Wonderful. Got lots to get through this evening. Like I say, get your comments coming in. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to say quickly, let's bring him onto the screen with the boys. We've got a very special guest to start us off this evening. Dave Sargent. You won't know Dave. Here's Dave. Hello, Dave. How are you?
Hey, chaps. How are we doing?
Absolutely marvellous. He looks like Luke Littler, doesn't he? But anyway, it's not Luke. Don't adjust your sets. It's not Luke Littler. He's not going to match play. He's not that rich, by all accounts. But I'm just going to say cheerio to the boys for a minute and just bring, because we've got a graphic for our Dave, so we just need to do this. Dave, you, my friend, are a very special man, and we, of course, promote the great game of Rugby League here at Super League Raw. It's a two-way thing, Super League Raw. It's not just us talking Rugby League. We get people involved. I was very touched by your post before I went on holiday. The Battle of the Legends at Leigh Miners on the 27th of August. Mate, this is your baby. Explain it to us. What's it all about and how can people support you?
Right, okay. So just to start off with this, my youngest boy is 6 years old. He got diagnosed with non-verbal autism about two and a half years ago. And ever since then, it's just been an absolute passion of mine to help families, those that face the challenges daily, just like me and Oliver's mum. Non-verbal autism is slightly different to autism in general. Obviously, not being able to speak is a massive challenge for him and a massive challenge for us as parents to understand him. And we know we're not the only parents out there that are dealing with that. The support isn't there yet, we don't feel. And this is I'm trying to achieve that. I'm trying to get the support and all the backup for all the families out there, not just for us. So no better way to do that than to get all of the Super League legends from the last 20 years involved, and all the Leigh Centurions legends from the last 20 years as well. So I've brought them all together to put on a great show on the 27th of August, not only to raise funds for a local charity in Wigan that I'm affiliated with now, AB UK, but to raise awareness for autism as well. That's the main thing for me, the awareness side of things. We've also collaborated with another charity, Life for a Kid, who are based in Hull. Now, they do a lot for Rugby League and they do a lot for different types of charities. So they work with bereavement in kids and all sorts of areas involving children. But it was a perfect opportunity to collaborate with them and do this. So yeah, we've got the likes of, as you can see on screen there, Sean O'Loughlin, Ryan Atkins, Wayne Godwin, Keith Senior, Lee Gilmore, you name it, everyone's there. Adrian Moore is there. So I mean, there's a massive list. Nick Yang was supposed to be playing, but obviously everything that's going on at the moment, we're not too sure. He really wants to play. He told me today, but I don't know what's going to happen in the next 4 weeks. Obviously, I've told him obviously there's no pressure, of course, but yeah, if not, he's gonna sit in the dugout with Paul Rowley. So,
superb. And yeah, of course, let's not forget you've got two great coaches leading the sides, haven't you?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So Paul Rowley, obviously the coach of Salford at the moment, he's agreed to come down and coach the Leigh side, and Tony Smith, an absolute legend of the game, he's coming down for the Super League side as well. But yeah, the Leigh side, I mean, because obviously it's based in Leigh, I'm based in Leigh. I'm a massive Leigh Leopards fan, so to get all the Leigh lads who I grew up watching down playing, and I'm going to play myself as well with them, it's just going to be a special night. Like I said, I've sold about 800 tickets with a capacity of about 2,000 so far, so I'm hoping I can reach 2,000 basically. But if I can get anywhere near that, then yeah, it'll be an absolute whirlwind.
Absolutely. And of course, we want you to get to that 2,000, a very worthwhile cause. How old's your little one?
He's 6.
Superb. Yeah, no, I mean, what you're doing is outstanding, mate. And of course, you know, this is the beauty of our great sport. It brings people together for great causes. It's wonderful to see what you're doing. It's incredible, the lineup that you've got for this. So again, the Rugby League community coming together as only the Rugby League community can do for these type of things. It's a 5 o'clock doors open, 7 o'clock kickoff, 27th of the 8th, only £10 a ticket, folks. Super League Raw will be in attendance. I know Steph will come along. I'll be there. I'm sure Reggie and Joel will do his best as well to support this as well. We're also going to do a couple of videos as well, because this isn't the only event that you do. You try and do them manually, don't you?
What's that? Sorry.
You try and do them manually. These type of events?
So last year I did a football one with the Hollyoaks cast and a lot of ex-Premier League footballers, and that worked out really well. Ended up raising about £12,000 on the day, which was massive for the charity. They'd never seen that sort of money before, so it was sort of overwhelming for them. But we're trying to double that this time. Trying to go one step further every year.
Yeah.
So yeah, next year I'm not sure what's going to happen, but yeah, on the back of this, I've been speaking to Mickey today, and we're going to organise another event in November for him.
Superb.
So yeah, I mean, firstly, I want to get this out of the way first. The autism one, obviously, it's something very close to my heart, very close to a lot of the players' hearts as well, because they can relate to it in one way or another. But yeah, after that, I'm just going to focus on Mickey and his fundraising for the back end of the year, because yeah, battling cancer for the second time is tough, and I know his family are going through a bit at the moment. So yeah.
I must still be in Cyprus. Absolute legend, mate. Good people find good people, and what you're doing is outstanding. So, if you're in and around the Leigh area, Warrington, Wigan, or further afield, and you think you can support this great man and the work that he's doing, only £10 a ticket. Legends there. Bring your autograph book. It's gonna. You know what rugby league players are like. They'll have a photo with you. They'll have their autographs taken and all the rest of it. Come and support a wonderful cause, Dave, mate. Stay in touch. We'll keep plugging it for you between now and August, mate, and we will be there to cover it, mate, and give it as much exposure as we possibly can. Give our best wishes as well to the family. You look after yourself, and thanks for coming on, mate.
Thanks for your support. Appreciate you guys. Thank you.
Absolute pleasure, mate. Wonderful stuff. Great stuff, that, boys. Great stuff. What a champion fella.
Beautiful. Absolutely fantastic. Yeah, what a great event that.
Should be wonderful. It's just what we do. It's what we do here at Super League Raw. That is what it's all about. And of course, Dave there mentioning the real terrible news about this man, Mickey Hyam, that has come in the last few days. Incredible that over £40,000 has already been raised. You can see a QR code there. Support Mickey if you've not donated to Mickey Hyam to get him the much needed treatment that he and his family deserve. Unfortunately, don't know what's going on. Don't know what is going on. What is going on? Where was I? Yeah, Mickey Hyam. So, support Mickey Hyam. If you've not donated yet, there is the Support Mickey QR code at the top of the screen. And there is a walk for Mickey Hyam on the 24th of August. That's a Sunday. Again, gets involving Leigh minors. We'll give more information about that nearer the time. It's going across the bottom of the screen. So please try and donate to Mickey, but also, if you can, put it in your diary to be in and around Leigh on the 24th of August to support a champion player and his family. Nobody wants to go through this type of thing, and I think Mickey is fully deserving of it. So some very, very important causes, early doors. We make no apologies for that, ladies and gentlemen, because as you know, it's what we do here at Super League Raw. Right, let's get the debate started. I like to be up there, Steph. There you go. That might be why we're getting the little demons, mate. I'm not in the right spot. Right, okay. Let's get into tonight's main show, and it says there, Super League to expand to 14 teams. The big debate that has come in over the course of the last 24 hours. Right, lots to get through here. Lots to get through at this moment in time. First and foremost, what I want to do is talk about 9 clubs have backed it, 2 have backed against it, 1 has abstained. Now, for me personally, Wigan abstaining, that doesn't sit well with me. You're either for it or against it. What's all that about? Who wants to go on that one?
Well, if you want. I was extremely disappointed. Obviously, we're not privy to the conversations. I'd like Wigan to come out with a statement as to why they abstained, to explain it. I think, given one of the most critical decisions on the sport's future, I think in recent times and before we adopted IMG, it's extremely disappointing that a club of Wigan's stature have decided not to say one way or another whether they're for or against it. More so because of how much weight Wigan carry in the game, if it makes me nervous as to why they've not backed it or gone against it. That does concern me. Chris Radlinski is a pioneer in the game in terms of the Vegas stuff, things like that. So I think it's for a club of Wigan's stature to sit on the fence is extremely disappointing from my point of view. But I would like to give them the opportunity to respond to it and explain why they have before I've cast too much judgment on that decision. But it's not a good look for me from the outside looking in without any knowledge of why.
So if they want, there's people in the chat saying they wanted to wait till 2027. Well, so did KR, and they said no. So that puts that to bed straight away. It's a no. This was about 2026, so that's not an excuse. I'm not having that. KR said they wanted 2027. That's why they said no. FC said they wanted a 10-team comp. Talk about. I'm so against the 10-team comp. It's bad enough with loot fixtures now. Joel, Hull FC 10-team comp. Surely not.
If it went to a 10-team comp, I think we'd lose the competition altogether. there's no expansion in that. With there's been IMG have talked about expansion for however many years they've been involved with Rugby League now, and had that been passed and gone to a 10-teamer, I think all them 10 teams eventually would have been dissolved and gone, and Rugby League would be no longer. Because the thing is, we're already struggling as it is as a sport to try and compete with the likes of your unions and other sports that are way far ahead monetary wise and marketing and everything else. And I think that is a very. I think sometimes when people put down as a no, I think it's quite selfish in a way, because they know that they're possibly very safe within that and they're not going to go anywhere. But I think all clubs should be backing this really, because this is the only possible way of expanding, and it paves the way then for us to have a similar model to the NRL, which we would love to emulate.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, look, the interesting thing, I mean, I've heard on other things, should they've expanded to 13 and then 14 in 2027, was there a middle ground? I don't know how that works again in terms of league fixtures. That's what the NRL do. They tend to increase one a year. So that could have been a middle ground for them. Reggie, I mean, for me, and again, let's this isn't a grenade, but I think if you're a Castleford, if you're a Huddersfield, if you're a Salford, you're going to back this. Because at the moment, certainly Huddersfield and Salford risk their lives in Super League. To expand to 14 gives them a better chance of staying in. So
it certainly does. It certainly does, mate. You're 100% right there. Yeah, that with the IMG ratings that stand at the moment, they're in the 12. So yeah, they are going to I think maybe self-preservation, but I do think going to 14 clubs long term is where we need to go. I didn't think would maybe be next season. I thought they may have gone 2027, 2028 to 14 teams. Because correct me if I'm wrong, wasn't there a vote on this earlier this season?
Well, it was. I don't know if it was a vote. Similar. I know it was discussed.
Yeah, and I think Wigan kind of abstained from making a decision on that one as well at the time. But yeah, they certainly are. I mean, there's lots of question marks over Salford's place, especially, but they will be doing everything they can to preserve their top flight status. There's absolutely no doubt about that.
Well, I mean, the thing just about Wigan, again, they've abstained on this, yet today Radlinski comes out and backs Catalan. So it's not like they're not willing to go, to be open and honest. There's a big lot of noise around Catalan at this moment in time. And Chris Radlinski today chose to come out and completely back Catalan and what they bring to the competition. So if they can do that, they can say yes or no with regard to this, like KR have done. KR have not said no completely to 14 teams. They just didn't want it in 2026. That's why they said no.
Yeah.
Hull FC, completely different kettle of fish. They want to go down to 10 teams, which I think is a nonsense. Absolute nonsense. I don't get that at all, quite frankly. Unbelievable. Obviously, we know that IMG points are going to do the first 12 places, and then 2 are going to be selected by a panel as to who the other 2 are going to be. Now, of course, Steph had his say on this on Round Unpacked where the members were concerned. So I'll start with you, Joel, and I'll work back to Steph in case there's anything he wants to add. Are you concerned over the criteria for these 2 picks?
Yes, I think it's wrong on every level. If all the 12 current Super League teams have to be graded on the scoring, then so do any others that want to come in. For next, we want to be true about this. We're talking about expansion here. Expansion can only happen with progression, and the teams in the Championship, if they want to come into Super League, which of course we'd love them to do, they need to get up to par. If that means that teams like, and I'm going to say it, like Huddersfield and your Castlefords that struggle with, and your Salfords, if that means that we have to go down because others score higher than us, so be it. For the greater of the game, you need the teams that are scoring the highest. I don't necessarily agree with the whole scoring criteria, the gradings. I think some of them could be. It's not about the actual gradings. I think it's more about how many points to give for each grade. Yeah, I think that it's totally wrong that they're going to pick teams because they're just going to pick the favourites. Let's be honest. It's Bradford and York. I think are probably going to be the front runners, or even Toulouse. But we may. I'm not saying that I know anything. I don't. But that's who people's favourites are at the moment. They're the But I would hope that if the 12 teams that are in the league are having to go off the gradings, so should the other two that are going to come up.
It is absolutely bizarre, Greg. From your perspective, I mean, Steph was very vocal on Round Unpacked in terms of there is a scoring criteria. So why are we coming away from that scoring criteria? Your thoughts on it?
Yeah, I couldn't agree more with what Joel said and what Steph said. I think one of the biggest issues with the RFL that rugby league fans have is the lack of transparency that they perceive to have, and I think we need to be transparent now. Let's make no bones about it. This is a massive decision for rugby league, and this points us in a direction for the next 5-10 years of where we're going to go. This agreement to expand, it's a huge decision. So there needs to be transparency. As Joel mentioned, a few teams there. Toulouse, they're a place above London, and York are a place above Bradford, and they in the IMG ratings, and they could miss out on a place in Super League if what we've heard, the rumours that we've heard, are true. And yeah, I think the fairest way, the simplest way, and that's without discussing the situation at Salford at this moment in time. I think the fairest way is the top 14 IMG rated clubs are the 14 clubs in Super League next season. It gets rid of all calls of, there's been a call that they're trying to get Bradford into Super League through the back door. And I'm sure Bradford would bring a lot of positives to Super League. But as Joel says, and as Steph was very vocal about, we need that transparency. We need, why change the criteria? Why change the rules on just two teams to come to be part of the league next year?
Well, it just smells.
And the other thing for me, sorry, Dave, the other thing for me is a decision on this has to be made fairly soon. The teams need to be told, because we've seen in recent history that teams that have come into Super League as a last-minute replacement have come in undercooked and haven't performed. And it's been unfair on them, it's been unfair on the fan base, and it's been unfair on the look of the sport. So a decision for me as well needs to be made fairly soon.
Well, just on that, I mean, again, let's just take a step back here for a moment. All right, I hear what you're saying with regards to that. Paul Vaughan, we'll get to that later. Signs for York. Bradford Bulls put up a brand new screen at Odsum before this even gets announced. Why would that? Why would you do that? Why would you put a screen up at Bradford without Super League status where you don't need it? I know you get points for it, but that ain't the be all and end all. You would probably you'd want certain assurances if you're Bradford Bulls before you invest that amount of money in a great big screen at Odsum. I mean, let's be fair. They need to bring a cleaner in first. I mean, I'm not being funny, but Odsum is not the Odsum that we remember the last time round. It's nowhere near it. No. So this for me. There's a couple of signs there as well, which you're looking at it going, well, how's this gonna go? Steph, you've had 24 hours to sleep on this. You were pretty off the cuff. I think your words were absolutely garbage. Any further thoughts overnight, mate?
Well, it's come out today in the press that the two clubs are going to be decided based on a similar criteria to what Leigh had to submit to replace Toulouse back when Toulouse folded. So that's another bit of information that's come to light, and I know how thorough that process was and what Leigh had to do in order to prove to the RFL they were ready for Super League. So that's kind of reassured me a bit on that in terms of what they're going to have to do to say that they're a viable Super League club. My thoughts still haven't changed in terms of when we put a system in that covers every aspect of the game, and it does. IMG has been a success for me in terms of the scoring system. It's made lots of clubs improve the standards to get the points. It's something that can't be fudged. It's completely independent. The clubs basically score themselves and submit evidence. It's clear what they need to do to get points. Very, very clear. There's no ifs, buts, or maybes about it. And I still can't think of any other reason why the RFL would go away from that model and promote the fort or give
it's
the
the
14
Super League.
spots.
It's the Super League, isn't it?
To give the 14 Super League, to give the 14 spots to the 14 current strongest clubs, because on every conceivable ranking you can do pretty much in rugby league, they've proven they're the strongest ones. My concern is that they're opening themselves up to criticism as the Super League whoever always do by putting it under a cloak and dagger system to promote the two further teams. So they may well put the right two teams in. I'm not saying that they won't going forward, but they're opening themselves up for criticism again. Hence why we're having this conversation.
Who are the right two teams, though? No matter who they put in, there's going to be a lot of conjecture, and there's no question about that. Look, I'm gonna get in. You know, the boys have had their say. Look, this is where we were at the end of last year. This is where we were. This is how it looks. Salford there and Huddersfield, Grade B, bottom of the Grade B pile. Salford, we know, will be losing points. One, because they're finishing 12th, having finished in the top 6 for the last few years. So there's going to be a slide there. We know that there's a chance of, because of the financial implications of this season, that they're going to probably be deducted points on that basis as well, which opens them up absolutely to Toulouse. As you can see there on 13.58 Toulouse. Then it was London, then York, then Bradford. Now, what I'm going to say here, boys, and we'll keep bringing that graphic up, right? I don't think Toulouse will accept access into Super League. I think Toulouse will decline it. And I'm going to tell you why. Salford will go out of the 12. Toulouse will probably be the team that overtakes them into 12th. With Catalan, we know what the Rugby Football League and Super League are trying to do where Catalan are concerned. If they enforce the same restrictions on Toulouse, all the travel, all the costs.
They already do.
Yeah, but all that, but all the travel, all the costs, and all the rest of it, and the fact that there's an absolute wave of we don't want French teams in it, and I think that is the tip, mate. I think they're going to throw so much at the French clubs for whatever reason. And this might be why Christmas Bradley's come out today. I think they're going to make it very, very difficult from a business perspective for the French clubs to remain in Super League. That's my belief from the outside looking in. If you actually listen to the narrative that is going on, it might not stop there, mate. It might not stop there. So I don't think Toulouse will be given any central funding if they come up. I don't think any of these teams will. I think that because there's no way for me. I mean, you heard Carl Fitzpatrick say we'd need to get into the detail in terms of the pot. So I think these 13 and 14 teams, you're going to have to look behind the scenes at who the benefactors are and who could afford to invest heavily to prop them up next season. Now, the question is there an appetite for Toulouse to do that? We know there's an appetite for Catalan to do that. Is there an appetite for Toulouse to do that? So I think it'd be very interesting. Will Toulouse accept Super League? Just putting out that.
I'll answer that.
Right.
So in 2023, Toulouse were taken over by a guy who owns a company called Autocar in France, which is a multi-million euro company. He owns that. He's not short of a bob or two. So I don't see any financial constraints putting on Toulouse. If you read his statement, he's very clear he wants Toulouse in Super League, regardless of cost. So I don't see that being something that stops them. If they say to the French clubs, you have to be self-funding. You don't get any of the central pot. I still think Catalan would want to be involved in that. If they negotiate their own French TV deal, where one plays on a Friday, the other plays the following Friday, and they always have a Friday fixture for French TV, and they get their own pot of central money for that. That's up to them to decide. I personally think Toulouse would be great for the competition with Catalan in having a local derby. In the French leagues, it's adding that player pool as well. People talk about player pools, and we're going to run out of that. How many players have Catalan brought through? Far more than most Super League teams. The Catalans have produced far many more players, Super League players, than most Super League teams have. If we kick the French out, then you're reducing your player pool by a massive amount. So
there's no appetite for him, mate. I get what you're saying. And I'm not against French sides. I just think that you're hearing it. And it's all to come out yet. I think in terms of the full vigor of what's going on behind the scenes. But there's an absolute drive for French teams to not be in Super League. Absolute, no doubt about that.
I've got a view on this, but I need to ask a question first because you guys will know. I don't know the answer to this. Who is the wealthier club? Is it Catalan or Toulouse? And I don't mean the club how well they're doing. I'm talking about who's the richer owner.
It's probably comparable, mate. But if you look at demographics, Toulouse are in a city of 1.7 million people. Cattle are in Perpignan with about 200.
Right.
So in terms of Toulouse's potential, they could overtake Catalan if they were given the opportunity.
Right.
But when you hear Nigel,
right, so that then sways
on
it
that
then.
though, Joe. When you hear Nigel again, just to back this up, when you hear Nigel Wood making the statement that he's made this week, that the Leigh supporters put £4 million into the French economy, which is absolute nonsense.
Yeah,
and let's be fair, he's a smarter man than that.
Yeah.
He's a much smarter. That is nonsense. So if they're going to come out with things that, quite frankly, insults the intelligence of the Rugby Football League community, then there's clearly a narrative in there. There's clearly issues in there. And this is why, and if Catalan are fighting for their Super League lives with what they've contributed thus far to Super League, what chance have Toulouse got?
Well, this was the point I was going to make. Steve Mack said, didn't he, that as a club they were struggling with wanting to get the team that they wanted because of these restrictions. If Toulouse is going to have the same issue, even though I'd love to have 2 French teams in the league, I think it's a great as an idea and as a franchise. The issue is that unless Toulouse can do what you're saying, Stefan, and create that money from somewhere, we're going to have 2 struggling French teams to be the best that they could be. I know Catalan have had. We thought they were going to have a better squad than they did this season. We thought the squad was going to do well, but they have struggled financially. And my only concern is there a potential that they could really struggle, and then we have another Salford situation? I don't think we will, but there's the possibility there. So I think the thing behind it is IMG are quite in with DAZN because of the boxing and stuff. So you would hope that if DAZN took over, there's a much bigger pot of money that's given out. And if that's the case, then Toulouse and Catalan may do very well and flourish. And we might see them back to being the top of what they can be. But that does all depend on the money that's coming in.
Catalan are safe 2026. That's not even being discussed. Catalan are absolutely safe. We know that. They're going nowhere. The conversation is around Toulouse. Greg, another thing that's on the wind.
Yeah.
Sky don't want Toulouse in Super League. The actual broadcaster for 2026 does not. Now that's what we're hearing on the wind. Whether that's true or not, I don't know. But there's a lot of rumor going around that Sky don't want to lose it. Now maybe that's cost based on having to cover 2 French games as opposed to, I don't know. But the bottom line is there's a narrative there that Sky are against Toulouse coming in. So this is what I mean. There's a lot. Yeah. There's a lot that Toulouse is going to have to navigate to get into Super League in 2026. And for me, if I'm Toulouse and if I'm investing in Toulouse, do you want to fight the hierarchy when you're not wanted? It's one of those. It's going to be a massive test of their appetite, and it is for them to accept it.
Yeah, you get all points made in this kind of argument are valid. I personally kind of agree with you, Dave, that I think Toulouse might not have the appetite. I know they've got the very, very rich owner, and I don't think they kind of did themselves proud last time they're in Super League. Thankfully, from a Warrington point of view, because it stopped us from dropping down a division at that time. I think, as Joel said, a lot would depend on the revenues that those clubs can build themselves. If they can show that they don't have to rely on Sky money, which, get me right, Catalan get the TV deal in France has been reduced, hasn't it, for Catalan?
Yeah, Andy Bibby's in the chat saying that French are paying for TV coverage. They've struggled to get a deal for French for French TV to cover Super League. That's one of the reasons why.
Union and football have hit Catalan really badly in the TV kind of negotiation stakes, so I'm led to believe, over the last few years. So yeah, I mean, is there an appetite for French teams in? We had this conversation a few months back now, and I said that if there was an argument against French teams, it's that, and it's kind of what Nigel Wood was hinting at, that Leigh fans, Warrington fans, Wigan fans, whoever put X amount of cash into the Catalan economy, then that's not reciprocated. And I think I said a few months ago that might be a stick that the RFL or Super League would use to beat Catalan with. and it looks like that's kind of what the angle that he's maybe going on.
It just looks that way, and look, this will rumble on and on and on. All I know is that it's like everything, isn't it? If you're not invited to the party without an invitation, how many people have got the what's to come to the door and say, "Hello, here's your bottle of wine, can I come in?" And that's to lose at the moment. It's like being invited to. They've not been invited to the party. Have they got it in them to come to the door anyway and say no? Not interested.
I mean, they've got a valid argument with the IMG rating.
Well, look, I mean, back to them. Toulouse, for me, will overtake Salford. Salford are going to get hit. There's no doubt about that. There's this talk of this 8 points deduction. Yeah. We know that they were 12th last year anyway. They're going to take a hit because of where they're going to finish this year in the league. Plus, there's talk of, obviously, a further deduction based on the financials of this year. So, for me, Salford are coming out. And I think, that I can't see any way around that. Salford are coming out without... Obviously, there is the York bit, and they're not going to be able to, even with a championship win, they've already got the 1895 Cup. York to plug that gap on Toulouse. I mean, Toulouse will probably dilute a little bit, don't get me wrong, but I think the whole point of this Salford Red Devils sanctions that they're trying to bring in is that I think there's a lot of people in Super League that, again, from the optics of the sport, believe that there should be a consequence for what has happened with Salford this season. So I think, again, behind the scenes, there's probably talks there in terms of, look, like Wakefield, Leigh, KR before them, Salford might actually benefit from going down to the championship. And I think that they want that probably would be seen as to other clubs. These are the consequences of not getting your house in order. There will be consequences, and you will be relegated. So I wouldn't be surprised if Salford go. We've had the chat around Toulouse. Now look, the bottom line is the championship this year is outstanding. Here's the championship. I mean, York at the moment sitting top on 28, just over Toulouse on points difference. There's Bradford there, then there's Oldham. You look down the list, London are in 10th. London are in 10th in the championship, right? So again, all this talk over Gary Hetherington at the London Broncos and London are a shoo-in. If London were to be selected as a team to come up for Super, this isn't the same London that got relegated. Had London have stayed up last year, they'd have built again, and they would, for me personally, based on what we saw, probably been a very, progressive and up-and-coming Super League team had they stayed up last year all day long. But they didn't stay up. They lost the players. They're in 10th in the championship. If London Broncos were to be accepted into the Super League next year, imagine the carnage and imagine the criticism. I mean, Steph, come to you. You have much to say on this one, mate. London, based on that league table, can London possibly come up based on that?
But the thing is, Dave, forget about the league table. The league table's irrelevant. That's the whole point of the two selection.
Yeah, but not to fans, Steph. This is what I mean about.
Oh, yeah. But this is the point. It's if we were going on the IMG structure completely, then yes, it does. Toulouse, for example, there. I mean, I'll come back to London in a second. But everyone's going York. That's all I'm hearing is York. Now, Toulouse win that league, they'll overtake Salford into 12th place. They're in, regardless of whose selection process you take. And would Toulouse be competing at that level, then the top of the championship, if they had no aspiration of getting in Super League, regardless of financial penalties or whether they have to pay their own way or whatever? Why are they even bothering if that was the case? It's a non-starter for me. But in terms of London, then yes, I could 100% see the Rugby League doing it. They've negotiated a TV deal for 2027. Yeah, and if you've got a company like DAZN that are coming in, you can absolutely see them saying, we want a club in the capital so we can sell it to our NFL audience and say, here's Team London, like they had the London Monarchs in the NFL back in the day. Whatever. It's a big draw for them. So it will cause uproar in the Rugby League purists. Yeah. Absolutely, because all they will do is look at this league table and say London don't deserve it. What people don't see is like Leigh had to go through when they replaced Toronto, was they've submitted an application to say this is why we are the best fit for Super League at this moment in time. And if London are the best ones in terms of that, then they get in. But again, it goes away from the transparency of IMG under a cloak and dagger system that will cause frustration for all fans in the game. And that's the biggest problem with it.
I've seen a lot of noise over Oldham. Forget Oldham. They're not even in the top 24 places. Oldham will not be coming into Super League in 2026. That's a nonsense. It's not even a starter. The fourth in the Championship. They're not even in the conversation. So, don't get me wrong. Oldham have made massive strides this year in the Championship. They're not in Super League 2026. I'll hang my hat on that one. That ain't happening. But look, here's an interesting one. Today we ran a poll, and you can tell, you can tell how this has really captured the rugby league community and why we've debated it for 40 minutes or near on, is because it matters. This rugby league, it's a passionate sport. People care. They've all got an opinion. We put a poll out today in terms of, and we put Salford in there. We didn't put Huddersfield in there. We put Salford in there because I think Salford are at risk. I think there's no doubt based on what's been going on this season. And we asked the question, so if Salford are going, which three clubs, including Salford, they're in the mix, would you do? Over 7,000 people have voted on our poll on Facebook. That tells you how much people are caring about this. And here's the results. It might surprise you. 38% want York. 24% want the Bradford Bulls. 18% London. 15% Toulouse. 9% Salford Red Devils. Now, I think what we glean from this poll, where Salford are concerned, is that what's happened this year in the wider game, I think that is basically backing up what I said. I think people expect Salford to have a consequence for this year. I couldn't believe it when only 9% want Salford in Super League 2026. I mean, there's the graph. That's the poll. Over 7,000 at the point of going on air. Who wants to go first? Is that surprising people? What's your thoughts on that?
See, the thing is that the way I
go, Joel, you go. No,
Sorry,
you go,
go.
mate.
The only kind of thing I'd say on the back of that for York is I think part of the question does have to be asked is what can them clubs bring to the league? That has to be part of the conversation, surely. And I think York, being a very affluent city where there's a lot of people around, a lot of tourism, there's potential of, if they're in Super League, there's more branding, more marketing. Is there a wider audience of the tourists being able to come and visit and watch a game while they're over here? And could that then word be spread around wherever they've come from in the tourism bracket? So I think you've got to look at that. Whether that's a major factor or not, I think it's certainly part of the conversation. And I think the Bradford one is more of a pulls on the heartstrings of the rugby league purists, which a lot of Super League Raw fans and members, are very much so. And we'd love to have Bradford back in the league, but end of the day, like Steph says, if they're not doing the off the field stuff as well as the on the field, then you don't deserve to be in there. And I put us within that as well. So seeing Salford down there doesn't surprise me, because you've got to get your house in order, and that might be if Toulouse don't come up this time. If they don't, it would be nice, as Steph said, the transparency thing again, them to say, look, they might not be in this time, but we would like them to be in, and this is what we need them to do to become part of it. And if that was the case, then great.
Just coming into it.
But I see a lot of potential with York.
Steph, I mean, obviously, York sitting top 38%. Look, York could win the championship, and under old relegation and promotion, York actually could have been the team that got promoted. So, an old relegation and promotion, that's there. We know that they're a pretty decent club, got a good women's team. They've got an appetite. Paul Vaughan is going there next year, which again shows appetite, whether that's for Super League or not, but it's a statement of intent to bring Paul Vaughan in. And there's no doubt about it, whether they're in Super League or not, bringing a player like Paul Vaughan in will actually increase the exposure of the club in the local area. There'll be a bit of a buzz around that, to get Paul Vaughan. The one for me, Steph, is Bradford. For Bradford to have come out second in this poll, this is not Bradford Bulls of Bullmania. Odsal is a shocking ground. If Bradford were one of the teams, I've heard your argument for Toulouse, I've heard your argument for London. I think there's an argument for York. I think there is a slight argument, especially if they win the championship and the 1895. There's an argument for York then, because they've earned the right, they've won the league that they're in, to be promoted. If Bradford Bulls get promoted, will it be seen as a boys' club? Will it be seen as that's the Nigel Wood factor and this was always the play all along?
Well, that narrative's there, isn't it? 100%. And I'm not surprised York are sat at the top, because what you've got rugby league dinosaurs who are more interested in the promotion and relegation, and the team who finishes top deserves to go up. and that's the model we've had, for how many times, and it's failed and whatever. I'm more interested from a York point of view in who's the owner, how much money's he got, are they going to be another Salford? That's we don't know anything about the owner. I know he's an Australian businessman, but that's about it. In terms of Bradford, I can't see anything. Put that back on for us, Dave. Where's their score at the minute?
Well, Bradford are below York. I mean, and again, you're going to your point about finances and all the rest of it. They are sitting 15th. And of course, we know with the 1895, they'll get a little tickle. They'll also get a little tickle in terms of the championship if they was to win that. So I think York, for me, if we're saying a 14-team comp, I think York are in the mix. I think there's no doubt. But when you see Bradford sitting there, if they don't win the championship this year and Bradford get there, I mean, Craig's in the chat saying they bring more to Super League because we've won it. They bring nothing to Super League because they've won it. We're talking in a bygone era. You can't say Bradford deserves to come up because they've got the name on the trophy.
It's a nonsensical argument.
It is a nonsensical argument.
Let's put Widnes in because they won the World Club Challenge.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Craig, mate. I want you one of your best, mate. That's not one of your best at all. But you look at Bradford there. There's no way, Steph, for me. York have to play in Super League next year before Bradford.
Yeah,
based on that.
Yeah.
It's really interesting. Greg, final thoughts from you? On mute. Oh, hang on. You're on mute. There you go, mate.
Muting me because I think my phone exploded. It's an interesting debate, isn't it? There are merits for all of those teams, perhaps least for Salford because of their financial difficulties. Personally, I think it will be Bradford and London who come up. I'd love to see York in there. It's a lovely little ground. And York have been slowly building. I think you said, Dave, they've been slowly building. They've invested in the women's team. They've invested in PDRL and wheelchair and LDRL. So they're fully invested in the rugby league experience for the fans. I just wish that there was a more transparent way that we could be shown how this choice is going to be made. For me, that's the thing here, that there needs to be, as we've all said, whoever gets in, or on whatever merit, there has to be a transparency of decision making here, and that's my personal view on this.
Yeah, apologies to people on the podcast. We have put the grading on the screen in terms of last year's grading. We might post it on our Facebook page if you want to have a look at that tomorrow. John H, good evening to you. New name on me, John H. But John H is saying he thinks that these are outdated. They are. They were last year's. At the end of the day, this is all we've got to go off. For this year, it's all we've got to go off. But what I would say to you, mate, is this: York will increase. We know that. London probably won't. They're probably going to take a bit of a hit. London, and again that comes to the narrative over Sky and Steph's point, they'd want London in, the NRL would want London in for those reasons. So you're looking at that league table there. Bradford will probably increase slightly based on where they are currently. Toulouse will probably increase slightly. We know Salford are going to reduce. Huddersfield will probably reduce slightly as well. So like I say, there's a lot of teams there in the mix for those 14. We know that's last year's, but believe me, it's between those teams that we're talking about that are going to be either in the 12 or we'll be fighting for those two. That is absolute, because the margins are so small in terms of the incremental gains or losses that they're going to have year on year. So, like I say, John, appreciate your point, mate, but that's all we can go off. And I think the debate pretty much stands up. It's going to be between those two sides. Right, that's outstanding. Right, look, before we get into our next bit of the show, we're going to bring in another guest that we've got, because as you know, this show is sponsored by Warrington Wolves Squad Builder, and I'm very delighted to say that Alex Chicken of Squad Builder is joining us this evening. We are going to be doing a feature that's going to be coming out back end of August with Squad Builder, and really giving it a bit of gusto in terms of what they've been doing and why it's so important that we invest at that level and get these lads over to Australia. Alex, welcome on debut to Super League Raw. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you so much for inviting me on. Thank you.
Absolute pleasure. And this, of course, is your next event that we're talking about today. So talk us through it. It should be a great night. This is the next one.
It certainly is. So we're absolutely delighted to welcome Tony Smith and Stuart Pearce to the Hallowell Jones Stadium on the 15th of August. It's a fundraiser for the Australia Tour for the Academy, as you mentioned. We've got Fraser Dainton, who's one of the Sky Sports commentators. He's going to be the host for the night and asking the questions Yeah, so that's it. So it's there's food included in the ticket price of £32 a person. And yeah, we just want to get as many people down there. The reason it's August, I know August isn't a great month. I appreciate people are on holidays and stuff like that. But trying to get Stuart Pearce and Tony together was quite a feat. But I believe Stuart's going to be here for the Catalan game, and then he'll be staying over for this event for us.
Fantastic. And what else is coming up between now and the end of the year? Anything else in the pipeline?
We've actually got it's that weekend as well. It's the 16th and 17th of August. We've got a 24-hour challenge at David Lloyd in Warrington. So this will actually involve the academy players and the coaching staff. They'll be taking part in a run, row, and cycle, and they're going to be cycling the distance from Warrington to Australia. So that's a 24-hour event, runs from 11 o'clock on the Saturday. And David Lloyd have also kindly organised a race night as well. So yeah,
Right.
so that's just to get everybody involved. So that's just going to be a fun day all around.
Wonderful. Well, we'll keep promoting it. And like I say, we've got the feature coming at the end of August with everybody involved in Squad Builder at Warrington Wolves. And of course, we're going to chart the boys' trip over to Australia, which would be marvellous. Of course, if you've got some similar initiatives in your clubs, then let us know about that. You know, it's very important that we know about these fundraising efforts from around the game, because we want these, you know, superstars of tomorrow to get the best possible experiences to improve their rugby league at a young age right the way through. And it's got to be said, Alex, you know, in terms of Squad Builder, it's done tremendous work over the years. Some of Warrington's first team has now come through the programme, and there's some very exciting talent in the current pool as well, isn't there?
Yeah, well, that's it. I mean, I think people forget, you know, Joe Philbin, Ben Curry, Toby King, they're all homegrown players. And then you've got like Connor Wrench, Josh Thewlis, and then all the young ones that are coming through as well. I mean, half the first team squad are homegrown. So we're very proud of that fact, and the fact that the players, you know, are featuring more and more, and some exciting young players. And can I just mention, obviously, the academy this season are unbeaten. The reserves are second in their competition, and the Scholars have just finished their campaign, and they've won 7 out of 8 games. So the pathways at the moment are in a really good place.
Absolutely. There's a lovely fullback called Mr. Holden. I keep telling people, remember that name. He's an exciting, talented young Mr. Holden, isn't he?
Yeah, Flynn Holden is terrific. Unfortunately, he's injured at the moment. But yeah, absolutely. Oh, and the other thing, sorry, while I'm here, obviously it's the Origin game, Academy Origin game this weekend.
Yes.
Lancashire versus Yorkshire. I believe we've got 9 players in that squad, Warrington.
Yeah.
So again,
that's at Hull KR, isn't it?
I believe so, yeah.
Again, we'll get the details of that, because like last time, they didn't do a very good job of promoting that game. And am I right in thinking that the Women's Origin is also being played at the same time?
I really don't know. I don't know. Like you say, there's not much publicity about it at all, is there, unfortunately?
I wonder why many people don't go and support it other than the families. Unbelievable. We'll do some digging on that between now and the weekend. Keep all your eyes on our social media. Let's get as many people as possible watching that Academy Origin, and I'm pretty certain the Women's Origin is there as well. Alex, we'll continue to support you. Thank you very much indeed for supporting us. And guys, if you can't get to the Tony Smith and Stuart Pearce evening, there is I'm right in saying that, you know, if you're passionate about young kids getting opportunities to go and better themselves as young adults, but also in rugby league, because am I right in thinking, where are they visiting? Is it Penrith they're visiting this time as a training camp?
Yeah.
So
we're based at Penrith. Yeah, we'll be there for 11 days. They'll be playing. We're also going up to the Gold Coast this time as well, and we're also playing a New South Wales select team as well. So that's the 3 fixtures. So
I mean, what an incredible experience for young men to go to, you know, the premiers of the NRL for the last however many years, 4 years, I think it's been, you know, to go into those training facilities. It's an opportunity of a lifetime. So if you can't get down to the Halliwell Jones and do this event, I do believe if you go to Squad Builder, if you go to just put in Warrington Wolves Squad Builder, there are a way that you can actually donate to Squad Builder online, can't you, Alex, to support them?
Absolutely, yeah, that's brilliant. Thank you.
Fantastic. So if you can't support it, but you've got a spare fiver just to give lads this opportunity, then by all means do that. Alex, thanks very much indeed for coming on. Really appreciate your time, and I'll probably be having a coffee with you very, very soon. You look after yourself.
And you, thanks again for having me on. Thank you.
Absolute pleasure. You take care. Right, outstanding stuff. So there goes Alex, and now we bring the boys back. It's been a way. Special guests galore, boys. Special guests galore, but doing a great job down there. Right, the future looks bright. Let's now get into some passionate debate, some quality. We've talked about, the differences of opinion over Super League 2026. Let's concentrate on the here and now. You talk about player pools, of course, quota spots going up, and is there enough players, etc. The future is bright, ladies and gentlemen. It's so bright. I mean, we've seen the Kent boys at All FC. We could Declan Murphy at. So many players coming through. So what I thought I'd do tonight, just to get the debate going a little bit, the breakouts of 2025. Now, look, some of these, you might think, breakout, really? Let me explain it. So we'll have a little chat around this. I picked a 13. And this 13 is based on players that perhaps weren't being talked about before the ball was kicked this season and have had a real solid season to the point where now they're on everybody's radar. So for the purposes of the podcast, I'll go through my 13. I'm sure the boys will want to mention other players as well that caught their eye. But this was the 13 that I picked in terms of real good quality breakout years for them. Bailey Hodgson at Leigh, incredible. Absolutely incredible. Dagnall, Saints, incredible. Sinny, we didn't know an awful lot about Sinny. Yes, he played a little bit down in Australia, but, there's a lot of question marks. I think he's answered a lot. I think he looks the part. Jack Broadbent, I mean, he's moved around so much. Still a young man. What a season. I mean, talk about a break. But Jack Broadbent now is nobody's understudy. Jack Broadbent is a starting centre at Hull KR. He's class. Harvey Barron. Last year we saw Lewis Martin coming through All FC. We felt he would have a good year. Harvey Barron this year has really come to the forefront. George Flanagan, had to put him in there at standoff. People, he's been playing fullback, but he's played a bit of standoff as well. We had to get Bailey in. We had to get George in. George Whitby of St. Helens. He's come on the scene. Incredible. Kite's fired Tilly. What a player. Then you've got Harvey Wilson. Harvey Smith as well at Wakey. It's a toss-up between them. Those two have had really good quality 9 performances this year. Ollie Wilson, Huddersfield Giants. Incredible season. I had to get Sam Walters in. A lot of question marks over Sam Walters. When Wigan bought him from Leeds, was he going to fulfill what everybody expected? And some. Yes, he's been paying prop. I had to get him in there. Sam Walters, incredible. Ethan O'Neill, another player we knew very little about. What a player Ethan O'Neill is. And then again, I had to get him in. James McDonnell of Leeds Rhinos. Again, a player this season that was, not on anybody's tip of the tongue, really. Just almost seen as a squad player at Leeds. But now he's probably one of the first names on the team sheet at second row. But I had to get him in. And actually, on 13, we've got tremendous 13s around the comp at the moment. The depth just isn't there. That's the real interesting one. When I was putting this together, I couldn't find a 13. Boys, help me out if you can think of one. Somebody who is an out-and-out loose forward who's been getting plenty of games in 2025. Out of the established ones, it's pretty much an established position, is 13 in Super League this year. Yeah. So I had to go into the second row because the second row has kind of, course, dropped back into the loose forward position. And I thought we had to get James McDonnell in. Boys, when you look at a team like that, the future's bright and we could probably take players out and put players in. Greg, you messaged me with regards to this, so I know that you were quite interested in this tonight. Yeah. That's the 13 I've picked. First of all, great seasons for all of them. Was there anybody else that you want to give a mention to?
Look, I did want to give a mention. And you talk about players that maybe didn't get the mention they deserved, or players that weren't being talked about at the start of the season so much. When you look at Ollie Partington, 26, I know he's been around a while, but he's quite young for a forward at 26. His stats this season have been incredible.
Yeah, at 13. I mean, I could have gone Partington, but I think I look at Ollie's. He's established. I mean, when he went to Catalan, we expected him to do well. I think he was at that level. I don't think we expected him to do quite so well, especially in a failing side. I get your point.
Yeah, and that, I mean, that's why I asked you to kind of establish the borders for this one, because I looked at that and thought his stats this season, 820 tackles, you know the rest, you've done the stats yourself. And also a name that was new to the comp, Tessie Newey. I know you're looking more at the young players, but names that we didn't know about at the beginning of the season. And he's 23.
He's only 23. Yeah, Tessie could have gone in there for Sinny. I concede that.
Yeah, he's got a lot to live up to, because Leigh have got this reputation of bringing players in, Asiata, etc., and then making impact. So there was a lot of pressure on him. he didn't. I don't think he had a brilliant start. He had a steady start, but over recent games, like Tessie knew he's been outstanding.
Yeah, no,
So-
I concede that. I would concede that. I think Tessie knew could have gone in there.
We spoke about Jared O'Connor as a possible England player. I think he was a name that kind of I looked at as well. I know he's been around a little while, but he's establishing himself more and more this season. But apart from that, Dave, some great picks.
Yeah, I know that Steph put Tessie in there. I say I concede that. I think Tessie, without doubt, would probably go in there, actually, in retrospect, possibly over Sinner. But, you know, I tried to show the love. You know what I mean? There's a lot of different shirts there. I tried to show the love in my team as well.
No, Dave, I'm not saying it's
No, it's a good point. It's a good point, well made. I think Tessie is outstanding, mate. Steph, your thoughts on that? Any names that you'd throw into the mix as well?
Yeah, I'd probably chuck in Riley Lum. You know, obviously with the Sevo injury, getting a lot more game time at Leigh, and Edgell as well. I think it's been pretty decent for them looking at Leeds. I think you've covered most of the other ones that I would throw into the mix there. But what it does show you, I mean, there is some Australians in there, but it does show you that there is, you know, with the increasing quota spots, that there is some. It's all about the recruitment and your research that you do when you're recruiting these overseas players. That there is talent there who can really add value to Super League, and there's also a lot of talent that's coming through Super League as well in terms of the academies and stuff and breaking out into squads. So it's very easy to be negative and you know, put down our sport. But some of these people on that screen have set Super League on fire this season, and really, you know, Whitby is a great example, isn't he? At Saints, he's been phenomenal. You know, jumping on Flanagan. Outstanding at Huddersfield this season. So the future is bright and there is talent there. What we don't want, as much as we don't want average Australians come over, we don't want average academy players coming into it either. We need to get the best out of all of our players and really make them earn spots in Super League and bring the standards up. And that's what I think these players have done this year.
Yeah, I mean, Joel, come to you. Ollie Wilson, we spoke about as part of the point to prove, and you, of course, picked him out. But George Flanagan, for me, is rapidly becoming your first name on your team sheet. He's that important to Huddersfield Giants. It's incredible what George Flanagan's doing.
He is, even at the point where, and I was on the phone to Bazza just earlier, and I was saying that we hate when players get injured, but when I heard that Niall was out for the season, I thought, even though that's dreadful for Niall, it's great for George because it means now that he has to play, and Luke's got no other option really to be putting anybody else in because George is just that good. And that's going to do wonders for the club because he's doing well for us. He's either scoring tries or he's setting tries up or both. And then you've got, you know, you've also got the thing of his development. You know, it's quicker than what he would have done, but with a player of that kind of talent, you know, he kind of needs to be out there playing for him to become that superstar. Whilst we're just talking about Huddersfield, I've got to mention one other name. Not that he's broken out this season, but he's a name that's going to, I believe, break out massively. I think he's going to be another Ollie Wilson. Is Mr. Fenton Rogers? He's going to be a really good name in a few years. He's very much. He reminds me of a James Graham type player, Adrian Morley possibly. Very old school, very aggressive, doesn't back down to anybody, but a lovely bloke off the field. He's a young player, but he's going to be a cracking prop when he's a bit older.
You know, in the chat, Aaron Lindop. I think Aaron, unfortunately, injuries has curtailed his season. I think there's no doubt Aaron Lindop has got everything in his game to be an outstanding player in the future. I mentioned Harvey Smith or Wilson. I think both of those have played really, really well at nines. You know, so I'd say that. Farriman, for me, we saw Farriman last year, and I think everybody expects Farriman to have a great career. So again, the reason why Whitby's there and Farriman's not there, I know that Wigan and Saints fans will get a bit precious over that, is because we saw Farriman last year. We didn't see Whitby last year. Whitby this year has put himself in the frame and he's been outstanding. So yeah, I just thought that would pass 5 or 10 minutes or so. It seems, and I say it just goes to show that there's a lot of talent, and you know, we could probably list quite a few other names as well. You know, for example, Jake Fulis, another one who's scoring tries at Warrington. You know, another player that's emerged at Warrington this year. So there's other players in there that for me, who's the lad at Whitehead? Not Whitehead. Who's the lad at Wingfield? Wingfield at Saints, who's played multiple positions this year in the back row. He's having a good knock for Saint Helens. Mila Hanley's another one, absolutely. Yeah, somebody
Ben
Aidan
McNamara.
Simpson saying Ollie Pratt. You know, the list goes on and on and on. So there's some real good quality players in Super League. The future is bright and it's right and appropriate. And we do it here on Super League Raw. We celebrate the great game. We celebrate the players that perhaps aren't the superstars today, but will be the superstars tomorrow. And there's quite a few on that screen who will be superstars of the future. We just need to keep promoting them in our great game. We need your support. Become a member at Super League Raw. Over 40 of us are going to the grand final. News is going to be coming out on transport and the festivities that we've got planned pre and post game at the Bluebell. So members, keep your eyes peeled for that. That will be coming in the next week or two. Right, okay, let's go to this. Banging or hanging?
This is what would the lover say at Super League Raw. So I've been thinking about that Christian Wade and the fact that he got dropped on Friday night against the Dragons. There was a lot of hype about him, but it just goes to show that the move from rugby union to rugby league isn't that easy. I think Wigan need to improve him and do that quick, as he is already 34. I think Wigan shouldn't have dropped him because all it's doing is affecting his confidence. What do you think, Super League Raw?
So there's what would Oliver say for this week. Greg, go on. Your thoughts on Christian Wade and Ollie's views?
I think he's got a valid view. Yeah, I think he did take some criticism the week before, but it's bound to have damaged his confidence. Unless there are other reasons, maybe a slight niggle, but I don't think we heard anything like that. He'd got picked up any injuries. Maybe Wigan were a little bit worried that Catalan might bring something to the party. I know that I controversially backed Catalan for a 1-8 win. Boy, was I proved wrong. But maybe you've got to look at it from the Wigan's club, bring him out the firing line maybe for a game. But yeah, I think it won't do his confidence. He's 34. I know, in the past we brought some great players over from Union who've been given the time to bed in and the time to get to know the game. With somebody who's 34, you can't really do that. They've got to hit the ground running, I think. I can understand why Wigan did it, but I think that won't do any good for the lad's confidence.
Joel, will we see Christian Wade again in a cherry and white shirt?
This year, maybe not. See, I don't quite agree on this one. I think there's more chance of knocking his confidence by keep playing him, because all that's going to happen is he hasn't got the time to, because he needs time on the training field. We're going to have to put him in there for a few weeks just to see where he was at. They've got it's a twist or bust scenario with a Union player, especially at that age. And all players are going to do now is just kick him to death. So he's just going to keep dropping the ball. Wigan now can only put him back out when they're 100% confident he's now got that part of his game sorted. Because the rest of it is a natural ability ball player. You can see how he can run. He's got a step on him and all that. He can't catch the ball for toffee, and that is the scary thing. Because you look at some of the players that can kick a ball in the Super League. They're going to bring down snow on him, and he's got no chance. So I think if they carried on and he keeps dropping it, confidence is gone, and he might leave.
Brought him in.
No, absolutely not. It was a crazy signing for a club like Wigan and quadruple winners to bring in a unproven player at 34-year-old was mind blowing for me. I could understand it, a club like Castleford or Wakey, taking a chance on someone like that and see what happens. But we're talking the quadruple winners. It was a marketing gimmick that they've done, and it's backfired on him massively. Yeah, he scored a great try, but what everyone forgets in that great try that he scored is that Zach Hardaker should have nailed him, and he should have passed it inside. It'd have been a try anyway. So yeah, he won't play for Wigan again. I'd be very surprised if he does, barring an injury crisis at Wigan. and it was bonkers for him to do it in the first place.
Well, I said off air after final whistle, and I didn't get many people disagreeing with me. If you don't expect that from the Wigan Warriors. Wigan Warriors, I'm amazed that a club with the stature of Wigan Warriors has done what clearly is a marketing gimmick. 34-year-old player, played Union, big difference between Union and League. It's crazy, especially when you've got the likes of Zach Eckersley and plays quite. I mean, look, Christian Wade's had a great career in NFL and in Rugby Union. But in Rugby League, should he be getting precedent over the likes of Zach Eckersley and, Miskey and these players? Absolutely not. He's so far down the pecking order, it's untrue. I mean, we expect that, Greg Inglis and all that at Warrington, but Wigan, come on. I mean, I'd be concerned over that. Let's hope that's the first and last that we see from Wigan, because that's a very slippery slope when you start doing that, isn't it, Greg? Anyway, let's move on. Let's carry on getting through these words. We'll keep Mr. Nixon on the screen. Greg, we're going to start with you, even though I've left Joel on the screen, so I'll bring Greg back. Here we go. My apologies. I'm a few technicals tonight. Greg, Ryan Matteson comes in. Is this too little too late where Warrington are concerned? Good player, but for me, we've got a load of backs. We probably needed a front rower. Your thoughts?
I can't understand this one. This is no disrespect to the player. He's a decent player, as you say. And, it worked last season when we brought Bateman in as a second rower, defensive second row. We brought Yates in, a bit like we've done with Stone, and we've done with Ryan Matteson this season. But we're crying out for a big middle. We're crying out for a prop. We don't need second rowers. We're probably crying out for a back due to the injuries in the backs. If we were higher up in the league, I'd say it was a gamble worth taking, because on his day, he's he's proven to be a really, really good player in the NRL. Not so much recently. He's only played about 4 games, I think, or been on the bench 4 times. So yeah, I'm scratching my head at this one. I can't really see how this will be a benefit to Warrington. He might, and I hope he might prove me wrong.
So you're going hanging?
Hanging.
Yeah, I mean, look, my view on this, we've heard a lot of talk about the pathways at Warrington. I'd rather see Nolan Tapea get a shot, or one of the younger lads get a shot. Warrington, for me, aren't going to be playoffs this year. This guy's only here till the end of the season. I'd rather him back some youth and give him
Tom Whitehead, it seems, so KR. It's a shame. It's criminal that we're not giving Tom Whitehead a chance. And if we want a second rower, and a big second rower, Tom Whitehead would be your perfect answer to that one.
Bonkers, absolutely bonkers. Yeah, it's an interesting one. It'll rumble on. Now, let's bring my old mate Joel back. Joel Caius Fire Tilly getting his locks done for candle lighters. Hanging a banging, sir. We can't hear him. Where's Joel gone?
You know, it'd help if I came off mute. Dishwasher's going crazy. There you go. Yeah, great that you're doing it, but it's just going to be weird seeing him without the locks.
Yeah. But that said, let's be fair. It's unlikely that I'm going to see Caius this season. They were shocking locks. You're tell him that.
They were, but I'll tell him it if you stood in front of me.
if you're gonna do it for a good cause. Well done to Caius Tilly, absolutely top man. Right, let's bring Mr. Sale in for his first bash, and it's been announced that Kevin Walters is going to lead the Aussies into battle for the Ashes. Hanging a banging, Steph.
Oh no, Kevin's got a great history in the game, hasn't he? A proud Australian as well. He's going to be a good leader for them. He's been picked for a reason. I'm glad they've done it now, because obviously there's been a lot of waiting around for who's going to be actually leading the Aussies into the Ashes series. But no, I think this is banging for me. I think he speaks really well. He's a fantastic coach, and it just adds to the excitement now, doesn't it, for the Ashes series, which we all can't wait for.
I agree. You want a coach of pedigree across from Sean Wayne in this. I mean, at international level, some of these players should just be able to go out and play anyway. But I think you need this level of coach at the helm. Your old mate Brad Arthur, though, was tipped as wide. Wasn't Brad Arthur giving it on an interim basis based on the fact that he knows so many of the English lads having been in Super League for 18 months? What were your thoughts on that?
No, I think Brad's got enough on his plate at the moment. in terms of contract negotiations and whether he's going to be at Leeds next year or not, which I believe is going to be imminently decided. But no, I mean, Kevin's a great motivator. And I think that's what you're absolutely right. These are the top players in the game. They don't need coaching in terms of where to put a pass or how to tackle, and defensively. What they need is someone to motivate them and really, put the passion in it for what the series deserves. And I think Kevin will do a great job of that. So it's banging for me.
Fair play, and I agree. I think it's a great appointment. Looking forward for Kevin Walters coming over for the Ashes series. Right, let's bring my own mucker, Mr. Nixon, back. Let's go there. We've already spoke about this. Paul Vaughan to depart the wire. Banging for York City. I've already said from a promotional perspective, great acquisition for them. From a Warrington perspective, is this hanging or is this banging?
It depends who they get to replace him. Simple as that. We saw when we brought Azatazi in, that was a hanging decision. I think it was he replaced Sims. That was a hanging decision as far as Warrington are concerned. Great for Paul Vaughan. He's got 2 years. By the sounds of it, he's got a really, really healthy contract to see him through those 2 years. So banging for him, banging for York. The publicity around this signing would be fantastic. I think the only way I can answer whether it's hanging or banging for Warrington is when we find out who they're going to bring in to the front row to replace him for next season.
Recruitment is massive for Warrington 2026. It really is. And when you're seeing Paul, who for me probably does, I think it's the length of contract. I heard on good authority that they were very close. It was agreed that he was staying for an extra year, but clearly York have come in with a 2-year contract at his age, lovely part of the world. I think Warrington have done probably an honourable thing and said, off you go, Paul, but it puts so much pressure now on Gary Chambers in terms of recruitment for next year, because the pack has probably been one forward minimum, and I mean front row forward minimum, short this season. You've got to go and replace a man of this stature and then probably bring another one in. I mean, Liam Byrne, we know we're getting him from Wigan. He's no Paul Vaughan.
You bring in, it's a banging.
Well, Pangai Junior's a battering ram.
Yeah.
So, which I sort of get, and if they can make him leaner, Pangai Junior's got a game about him, but there's a lot of question marks there in terms of fitness and what Sam Burgess can get out of him. So I think had Vaughan stayed Pangai Junior in, actually, yeah, that's not too bad. Now you need that 60-minute Caius Fire-Tilly, type forward, which of course Warrington aren't getting, that can come in and do it. Massive, massive pressure on the Warrington recruitment staff. Absolutely hanging. Gutted to see Paul go, but I wish him and his family all the very, very best. Right, let's bring Joel in. Again, it was already touched upon this one, Joel. I'm going to have to go there. Now Levels out for the season. Why, oh why, did he play against Wakey?
Well, all I can say is that Luke always wants to put out the best team he can. He thought in his infinite wisdom that was the best move to make on the day. But Luke's not been a head coach for a very long time. He is going to make mistakes, and that was one of them, and he'll learn from it. So hopefully now this gives George his chance to prove himself, and it will now free up a bit of space for Niall to rest up, heal up, and if he is going to stay with us at the end of for next season, which is a possibility, then we've got then a great headache at fullback.
You've got a question, haven't you? Why I played against Wakey, mate? You really, really do. Shouldn't have happened, no. And here comes Mr. Sale. Mr. Sale's coming in. Steph, it's very, very rare that I do this to you, but I'm going to have to go there, mate. I'm going to have to go there. Armstrong is set to come out. Interesting that he's come out. Don't know why he's come out and said this, because it's a bad look. Played for 4 weeks with a ruptured ACL. If you actually look up that injury, he should be nowhere near a rugby league field. What went wrong? How did that happen?
Yeah, well, I think he masked it quite well. I mean, you look when he got injured at Leeds, he went on the wing and could have scored a try from that. I think with these kind of injuries, sometimes you only find out with scans how bad the injury is, and I think it probably shows how much, from a positive point of view, that David wanted to earn his place, and has he hidden it quite well, and it's just got to a point where It was too much for him. He's hanging for Leigh because he was one of our major recruitments. But what we can say is he now gets the time to have that. Well, he's had the operation. He needs to rehab now, and hopefully he comes back an even better player than the glimpses he showed.
Yeah, I mean, look, there's been a lot of in the WhatsApp chat this year where players have had a head knock and trainers haven't took them off, and there's been a lot of grief. I have to question this where Leigh are concerned. There's no way you can mask a ruptured ACL. The medical team have got to do a better job than that. For me, that's just from the outside looking in. The fact that he's come out and said it's a bad look, I'd thought Armstrong would have kept that in house. Really, it's just a bad look. No player should be playing with a ruptured ACL. Full stop. So something's gone wrong there somewhere. Not Leigh-like, but it's very rare that we have anything. I don't want to say negative. I'm just constructive criticism where Leigh are concerned. But that is a bit. I just don't get how that can happen. I really don't. Boys, outstanding stuff. Absolutely outstanding stuff as always. Good chats. We've gone through quite a lot of news there. It's time for this.
Give your head a wobble.
Yes, it is time to give our heads a wobble. And as it says there, this is just for fun. And I didn't realise we were going to have this, but we've had one live on the show. Andy Bibby take a bow, sir. Banging, Vaughan is leaving. Count on two hands how many great games he's had for the Wire. Wasn't he in the Dream Team? Wasn't Paul Vaughan in the Dream Team a few years back? Yeah. I mean, he had a belting game against you in the semi-final this year, didn't he, Steph? Did Mr. Vaughan?
Played very well, yeah.
Of course, in his first season, Dream Teamer, post meetings for fun.
That 8 or 9 game running streak that Warrington had at the beginning of that season, he was the outperformer. Yeah.
Andy, with the greatest of respect, don't turn off. Stay with us, mate. It's only for fun, but my friend, unbelievable stuff. Right, okay, let's get into some other ones. Not that many tonight. We're up against time, as you know. But anyway, here we go. Let's see what we've got this week for you. Right, first things first. Yeah, we didn't talk about Magic. And I was very surprised, Steph, in the chat that you were quite happy to see Magic go. You happy to see it go?
Yeah, for me, I think if we're going to get rid of loop fixtures, I'd like to see it back to an even competition. Just home and away. I do get it. Magic's a great event. It's really good. It's a lot of fans enjoy it. But for me, it's all about TV revenue. It's about sponsorship. That's how we're going to grow the game now. And half-empty stadiums don't look good on TV, regardless of how much we enjoy an occasion. And that for me is why I would, I take it or leave it. But I think it's more important now when we are getting rid of loop fixtures to get back to an even home and away and just have it as that.
I'm against that one, mate. But it's all about opinions. Hence the reason why I did this is give your head a wobble. Because David Johnson, our fan, fingers crossed it happens. Magic weekend is past its sell-by date. I think it's just for whatever reason, we just can't promote great initiatives in this country. The Australians, look at what they do with Magic. They absolutely love it. I love Magic. I mean, just for the social element alone. I mean, look, if you've not done Magic with Super League Raw, you've not done Magic. I mean, imagine if people went to Magic like Super League Raw goes to Magic. It'd be an event every year. You know what I mean? So, David, mate, sorry, but I'm in the floor. But Mr. Sell, he's with you. So, maybe half a wobble as opposed to a full wobble. Anyway, right, let's go to Mark O'Leary. This is absolutely outstanding. I have to say, Mark, this is a peach, if you don't mind me saying. So, on the Christian Wade one, Wigan fans ripped into Wade last week for dropping the ball, resulting in tries scored against us. What about Marshall this week? The great Liam Marshall. You are comparing the great Liam Marshall to Christian Wade. Mate, really? Having a giggle, mate. You only dropped one ball? Unbelievable. I couldn't believe what I was reading with that one. Absolutely outstanding stuff. Right, Simon Davison, Leeds Rhinos, disappointed with the loss against Wake. No idea of an attack. Brad Harper will definitely be going back to us after this week. Clueless. They've been seen in the top 4 for most of the season. Yes, all right, they're inconsistent. But
Third league season round.
oh, man.
Where did we get it from?
Would he have said that if Croft's truck goal had gone over?
I don't know. But anyway, that, like I say, in the interest of time, that is all we put out there for this week. But we do know that you like give your head a wobble. Let's stay positive, though. Let's put some congratulations out to our gladiators. This might be a new thing on Super League Raw. Mason Leigh, 150 appearances this weekend in his career. Congratulations to Mason. Great effort, mate. Jack Ashworth, 150 for Hull FC. Ryan Hall says, hold my beer. 350 for the Leeds Rhinos. Of course, he's made far more than that in his career. Ryan Hall, incredible. And many congratulations as well to Tommy Makinson, a real pro of the game. He is now in 6th place in the all-time try-scoring charts in Super League, having scored his 196th against the Wigan Warriors. Many congratulations, boys, for your service to our great game. We love watching you. Very, very well done indeed. Right, a very brief and quick one of these.
Ooh, pass me a cucumber sandwich.
Yes, we're only going to one place this week, just the one place. We're going to have to go to the Brick Community Stadium. Oh, yes, that's where we're going now. Zach Eckersley got man of the match, 3 points in the Albert Golf. No issues with that. I thought Eckersley was decent. I can understand why they might have gone Zach Eckersley, but that's where it stops being. Here we go. So 2 points. 2 points. In fact, come on, throw some names at me. You watch the game, boys. 2 and 1 are up for grabs here. Who are getting them?
Fireman.
Fireman's going to get one, you think? Who else? For his individual try.
Yeah, but I thought stepping into Bevan French's shoes as well. I thought he had a good game, Fireman.
Yeah.
Wardle.
Who did?
Wardle. Always does have a game, Wardle.
Not one of his best, but yeah.
Like, solid enough.
Solid enough. Okay. Now, Farriman did get 2. So if you're saying Farriman have got 2, personally, I don't think he deserved 2. Just my opinion. But if we're giving him 2, who's getting 1?
Harry Smith was outstanding.
Yeah. Harry Smith was outstanding. Harry Smith got our man of the match. 1 point. Remember, Harry Smith isn't getting this, guys. So just put that into context. Harry Smith is not in the top 3.
Give us a tip.
And for me personally, he was man of the match by a mile. By a mile. Wasn't even close. It was a masterclass yet again from Mr. Smith. 1 point, Patrick Mago.
He came on really late as well, didn't he?
Honestly, I mean, let's be fair though. Patrick is a very special player. He can get man of the matches for playing 15 minutes. We've got to remember this is the great Patrick Mago, isn't it? But dearie me. I mean, how's Harry Smith not in the top 3? I mean, that's just laughable. Laughable.
Mago didn't play a lot in the game, though, did he?
49 metres from 9 carries. He tackled 12 times. Didn't make a tackle bust all game. You compare that to Byrne. Byrne made 11 carries for 104 metres in the game. Made more tackles, made 5 tackle busts. Right. So if we're comparing and contrasting forwards, Byrne had a better game than Mago by a country mile. It's just like, I mean, the Fireman one, I sort of get, albeit individual piece of genius. I thought Smith was far better. Absolutely not even close between Fireman and Smith. Just unbelievable. So there you go, a very short and brief cucumber sandwich this week. We've got to say, unbelievable, absolutely unbelievable. But there you go. Patrick Mago, unbelievable. Right, okay. We will do. We'll dip into the Fantasy League next week because, of course, we're halfway through round 20. So we'll do the Fantasy League next week. We'll have a break from it this week. We always roll with the punches here. We've had a couple of guests. We've had a really good debate over 2026. We celebrated the young players that are coming through in their breakout years. People having a lot of dyslexia, but that's fine. But we'll just crack on. What we'll do, we'll just roll with the punches on that. Yes, here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get to the prediction league now. Of course, we've had round 19 and half of round 20. Boys, things are heating up very, very nicely. Here it comes. The members and Greg are level 264, and Mr. Sale is flying. He's up to 261. He is absolutely flying at the moment, is Mr. Sale. Then it's the non-members 254. Joel at 247, still in the mix. I'm 242, and Early's 236. So, yeah, you look down that list. My time is rapidly running out, I think. Joel, yours is as well. But it's I tell you what, it's going to be pretty tight and juicy up there in those top 3 positions this year. Great effort. And the members holding on to joint top with Mr. Nixon. But yeah, Mr. Sale, you've got to be happy with that, Mr. Sale.
It's unfortunate the best stuff's not working out that way, isn't it? At the minute, it seems to it's one or every week it seems to do 1 or 2 letting me down, doesn't it? But no, great to be shooting up the leaderboard, and with seven rounds left. Is it 7? 8?
Yes, we're in round 20 now. So yeah, we've got 7 rounds to go. Yeah, 7 rounds to go. Like my time.
Who knows, mate? There's time for everyone yet.
Yeah, no, but I think my time's running out. But I think, that top 3 is looking very juicy indeed, going into those final rounds of the season. The very best of luck on that one, boys. We must say, if you want to be a part of this, of course, tomorrow on our website, if you're a non-member, the predictions will go up. Get involved. It's all multiple choice. It literally takes you seconds to do. Give us your predictions. Be a part of the fun. The members, it's already live. So if you haven't cast your vote yet as a member, go onto the WhatsApp group if you're 6 again or Team Talk. Go on there. And cast your votes on that one. Okay, here we go. The league table. Here it is. This is the league table. Of course, the Robins still lead by 2 points over the Wigan Warriors. Of course, they play this weekend. The Leopards against the Wire. Of course, we'll talk about that in a few moments' time. Then the Rhinos, the Saints, and Trinity. That's the top 6. FC just outside now. And of course, down at the bottom, the Giants doing their level best to try and claw themselves above the Casper Tigers between now and the end of the year. Might not actually give up hope, but maybe getting and surpassing the Dragons as well. We'll have to keep our eyes on that one. But a lot of moving and shaking in Super League. Right, these are the fixtures. Of course, very odd to have round 2 or part 2 of a round, but this is how it's playing out. Thursday night, live on Sky, Salford Red Devils host Hull KR. Then it's the big one on Friday, the Super League. Myself and Greg heading over to the LSV for a night of merriment sport. Should we do a live, boys? Should we do a live? That's I think we probably will. Don't know where it'll be. It'll either be from Chateau Sale or maybe from the Holiday Inn before the game. But maybe we'll do a Super League Raw lively against Warrington. Keep your eyes peeled for that on YouTube. That might be coming your way on Friday night. And of course, the Saints on Castleford. 3 games. Where's the Saturday game? Where's the Saturday game? That's all I'm going to say. Where's the Saturday game? Absolutely unbelievable. Right, let's get into the squads. Here we go. Oh, by the way, Rebecca, we should have your hoodie, mate, for that as well. So we do need to meet up with you before the game so you can get your hoodie, Rebecca Frey, in the chat saying that she is going to be there. Right, these are the squads for the Thursday game. Of course, we've got that. Some Lachlan Lewis back for Salford, whether he sees out the 80, I don't know. I mean, he does seem injury prone, does Lachlan Lewis, but he's back. Joe Shorrock's in there as well. Great to see Declan Murphy. I think that lad's been absolutely a revelation. He's been incredible, hasn't he? I'm really looking forward to seeing him again. Harvey Wilson, of course, we spoke about him in a player that's really caught the eye for Salford this year. Connell as well. So again, some of these young lads, we'll be getting to see them. And, okay, our favourite, no doubt about it, but they've got to show respect. They have to show respect. And you can tell that by the squad that has been announced by Willie Peters. It's pretty much a full-strength squad, give or take the long-term injuries that they've got. But there's still plenty of quality there for Hull KR going into this game. No doubt about that whatsoever. Right, boys, let's have a chat around these games, starting with this one, Salford against KR. We'd expect KR to win it. I mean, I think, even I'm not going to back Salford, and I need to get points in the prediction league. It'd be not nonsensical to do that. And I think even Matt Sims wouldn't blame me for that either. But like I say, Salford, some good little players there that I'm really enjoying watching, cutting the teeth. It bodes well for the future of Salford, especially Declan. Of course, he signed an extension to his contract while I've been away, and that's real positive news for Salford. In a season where it's been not an awful lot of good news, that's a great bit of news for Salford Red Devils fan that Declan Murphy has signed an extension to his contract. Greg, we'll start with you, Salford. I mean, look, they're going to huff, they're going to puff, but unfortunately, they're not going to get a straw house or another house. They're certainly going to go up against a brick house. I think they're not going to blow this one down, are they?
I don't think so. I think the only the only kind of guessing game we're going to have is it going to be a 9-17 or an 18 plus in Hull KR's favour. And that's no disrespect to Salford, who have put up, they've put up a good show in the last couple of occasions, last couple of games. Certainly gave Warrington a scare. I was there with Matt for that one, and they certainly gave Warrington a scare for that game. A lot of players have got some miles in the legs now, and that always helps. Does the week off help anybody in this case? That could be the deciding factor between a 9-17 or an 18 plus. The fact that both teams have been off for a week and had holidays or whatever. But yeah, I think the fact that KR have put a healthy squad out there, excuse me, put a healthy squad up there means they are going to take it seriously, and quite rightly so. But I'm going to go 18 plus, so KR.
Yeah. Joel? KR 18 plus.
Thanks for that. As Jim Bowen used to say, thanks for the time.
Yeah.
Steph, over to you.
No, it's going to be good to see how Salford deal with the best side in Super League. But at the end of the day, it is 1v12. This one, I think anybody who thinks it's not going to be an 18 plus is probably delusional. And if it's not 18 plus, there's something seriously wrong at KR, which I don't think there is. The talent that they've got in that squad far outweighs what Salford have got. I'm hoping to be at this game, actually. Some of our KR friends going over there. I'm hoping to go over and watch them and enjoy not only KR and what they are this season, but also the Salford support, which I think has been in a tough season, has been fantastic. And if anyone can go and support Salford and put a few pound in their coffers, I'd encourage you to do so, just to see some Super League live on a Thursday night. So yeah, I'm hoping to go over there. I hope it's a great game. We see some fantastic tries, but unfortunately, especially for friend of the show, Matty Timms, and Super League Raw member, unfortunately, mate, I think it's going to be 18 plus KR.
And you know what? It's really important that we mention this. It's going across the bottom of the screen. If you're listening to the podcast, you can't see what's across. This is why membership at Super League Raw is just worth it. $4.99 a month. It's this community element of it. At the start of the show, there's a great photograph at the start of the titles where Steph, KR fans, Salford fans went to Huddersfield Wakey to surprise the Cowbell Army fans. And how many were you there that night, Steph? How many in total would you say?
I think there was about 14 of us, 15 of us.
14 members of Super League Raw who had no vested interest in the two teams that were playing went over to meet up with Huddersfield Giants fans to celebrate the game of rugby league in that community. That's exceptional. That's what these guys are doing. You just heard Steph there. He's not a Salford fan. He's not a KR fan, but he's going to make that pilgrimage because he knows Salford and KR fans. He loves his game. So if you're a passionate rugby league fan, that's what membership at Super League Raw gives you that perhaps other subscriptions doesn't. You get to be a part of a wider community that opens doors to celebrate the game of rugby league with other passionate fans. So if you've not become a member yet, do the QR code, go to our website, www.superleagueraw.com. These experiences are going to keep growing and growing and growing. It's what makes the game special. It's what makes us special. And as you saw at the start of the show tonight, we give back. We are really pushing some great causes this year. Action for Alfie. We've done the autism one there tonight as well, which is going to be happening in Leigh. We're a big supporter of Mickey Ime, as everybody is in the game of rugby league, and of course squad building. And we're happy to do that for other clubs as well. So come on, we need your support. Come and enjoy your rugby league even more. You'll never ever regret it. I'm telling you, you'll absolutely love being a part of this community. I too am going Hull KR 18 plus. And picking up on your point there, Steph. If it wasn't 18 plus, it's a great feather in the cap again for the effort that Salford would have had to have put in to keep it to under 18. We'd have to say that. But equally, I think the question mark for KR would be, where's that? And I think they have got the killer instinct, and I think it will be 18 plus. But if I'm a KR fan and they don't win this by 18 plus, you've got to question what's going on. You've got to keep the foot to the floor. At this moment in time, it's KR's to lose that league leaders shield. They've got to keep the foot to the floor, and they've got to be clinical, devastating, and relentless. You'd agree with that, Joe?
Definitely, they have to be, because if they want to be the team that Wigan have become, and Saints, and all these other great clubs I've been in the past, You know, they need to be ruthless and have no compassion for anybody, regardless of what they're going through. So yeah, that's why I was very easy in saying KR 18 plus, because they have to. There's no other way about it. And I think the Salford fans would expect that as well. And that's just
and at the very late. Kev, if you missed it, mate, Mickey is battling stage 4 cancer, mate. There is a GoFundMe page that we're featuring on our website. Go onto our social media channels. Over 40 grand has been raised already for Mickey to get some much needed treatment. So we've done a big thing on that earlier. It's all over our socials, mate. If you can support Mickey Iam, that would be absolutely marvellous, my friend. Right, now we come to the biggie. It's going to be a belter. Can't wait to spend time with Mr. Sale. It's always a pleasure to go over to the LSV and meet the Roarers, whether I come away winning, or losing, which is often the case, and I'm sure it will be on Friday. But anyway, it's going to be a great night. We'll start with Joel, because he's, of course, neutral. Joel, Leigh taking on the Wire. Leigh trying their best to rein in the Wigan Warriors. Warrington clinging on by their fingernails to a potential playoff spot. Over to you. Your thoughts on this game. Which way is it going to go?
This is in a similar vein to KR. Leigh really have to lay their markers now. They need to stake their claim of being in the upper echelons of Super League, which now should become a bit of a norm for any Leigh fan, and very rightly so. This isn't a league that's been bought. This isn't a club that's been, just had money pumped into it. This is a club that's been building for quite some time and building in the right way, just like KR did. So yeah, I think based off the circumstances, if Leigh don't win this, like you said with KR, questions have to be asked, because you look at some of the performances in the past few weeks that Leigh have put in, it's been quite astonishing, quite outstanding. And I think, I know Steph's very, very close to the ground with Leigh, but I think even Steph would be quite surprised with how good they've played. Because you don't always expect them to be beating big teams week after week, because that's really difficult to do. So with that in mind, I am going to go for a Leigh 9-17 win. I do think Wire are going to put up a bit of an effort. But the issue is, it's not Warrington that aren't going to be good enough. It's that Leigh are just that good at the moment. And if it's anything else, I'll be very surprised.
The scalps that they've had in the last 3 games, quite exceptional. Greg, I mean, look, the only saving grace for any travelling Wire fan is the semi-final, a performance that came from nowhere, absolutely nowhere. We went to that game hoping for the best, but probably expecting to come away losing. It needs to be a flawless performance from Warrington, or they'll get undone, won't they?
Oh yeah, it has to be. It has to be the performance of the season, as far as I'm concerned. This one, there are some bodies who are missing from that played in that semi-final. It's not making excuses, but that has been one of the stories of Warrington's season, that players got injured at crucial times in the season. We get Danny Walker back, hopefully, on Friday. I'm sure Sam wouldn't put him in there if he wasn't ready, if he wasn't raring to go. So that's one bonus that Warrington can look forward to. I think Sam said that he won't start; he'll come off the bench, so he might inject some go forward that we've been sadly lacking in a few of our more recent performances. For me, this is a must-win game for Warrington. Every game is a must-win, but Warrington lose this game on Friday, I think they can genuinely say goodbye to any hopes they've got of qualifying for the top 6. I think this game is that important. We've got Wigan the week after at home. Wigan are rocking a little bit, but you've got to say that of the 2 games, this is the one that Warrington have to win to get on a roll. Leigh have been superb, haven't they? Leigh have been fantastic. As Joel said, some of the performances they put in over the last few weeks have been outstanding. They've got a great team ethic. They've got a great ground there. The crowd gets behind them. It's compact. It's noisy. It's intimidating. And unfortunately, I'm going for, from my point of view, I'm going Leigh 9-17.
Leigh 9-17.
18 plus, because it could very well be. I'm hoping that Wire put in a performance. We've seen some very close games at the LSV between these 2 sides over recent years. Sometimes sendings off have decided it. Sometimes a bit of luck has decided it. if Warrington have had the brains to go down to target Armstrong in the last game when he was clearly injured, we might have got something out of that game. They didn't, and then Leigh went quite justifiably. Leigh went on to win it. They were the better team on the day. Yeah, 9-17, Leigh.
Fair enough. Yeah, give your head a wobble has gone, but then Franny comes in with this one. Now then, Donny's proving you all wrong, ripping it up in the NRL.
I think
God,
that's tongue in cheek. I think that's tongue in
Oh dear. A cameo for Give Your Head a Wobble. This week.
I've got it back on that one. I think it's been on it.
We're getting them live this week. It's unbelievable. Steph, I mean, look, your team have been simply superb. I mean, let's not beat about the bush. You know, Wigan second half, especially KR, they were like just a well-oiled machine. Incredible. And of course, then it was Saints, wasn't it? After them, 3 massive scalps, huge scalps. You shouldn't fear Warrington. You just shouldn't at all going into this game. The momentum that you're in. Are you fearing Warrington, or do you think the only way is up for the Leopards now?
I don't think Leigh fear anyone at the moment in terms of the way they're playing and stuff. And that's not an arrogance thing. It's just they're playing well. So they're going in with confidence. What I would say is that Leigh and Warrington games tend to be very close, no matter what, either way. Warrington are yet to win at the Sports Village. That's got to end at some point. And Warrington has still got a very decent side. And don't forget, and we talk about injuries. Leigh have got Robbie Mulhern out, Ethan O'Neill, who you just put in one of your the most up and coming player, and our marquee signing in David Armstrong. Yes, we have got Bailey Hodgson who's come in and done fantastically well. So Leigh aren't without their own adversity in this game either. I expect it to be a really close game. I do, and some people may say, "Oh, Leigh should be winning 18 plus." I think it's going to be Leigh 1-8. I think we will win, but I think it'll be a lot closer than what people expect. I think it'll be a really good game, but more importantly, I get to share it with you and Reggie. And I actually think, because you are coming to my house, I think we should do a live from my house.
That's all sale.
I think we should have Reggie sat here.
Yeah.
Reggie sat here. Dave sat here. We do a live a bit earlier than we normally would, and then we'll head off to the SV. And regardless of the result, it doesn't matter, does it? It doesn't matter. It'll be about spending time with you two wonderful people. So that's all I'm concerned about on Friday. And I'll put it on record. I absolutely hate Leigh and Warrington games. The only joyous thing for me is spending time with you two. And apart from that, I hate it.
Mate, get the candles out. I don't know about you, I'm getting hungry. Where's the maitre d'? Get the desserts out. You know what I mean?
The barbecue will be on no matter what. That's all that matters.
We've not done this tonight, but I'm almost feeling like it's time for this. Yes, get the sexy music going. Go on, Steph, say it, lad. But no, look, absolutely, it's going to be an outstanding Friday. Really looking forward to it. Always love the Be the Roarers. If you see us, come and say hello. Always nice to be around the LSB and the Be the Roarers. Look, for me personally, I get your point over the injury, Steph. I think Walker coming back, I'm nervous over that, I have to say. I hope Danny goes well if he is back, because I think he's a massive player for the Ashes. I think we need Danny Walker for the Ashes in and around or at least competing for those 2 spots, because I think Danny's class. I really do. For me, the only thing is the only thing, momentum. I think the one thing, I think that this split round, we haven't spoke about it, so I'll speak about it. Momentum in sport is massive. It's probably come at the wrong time for Leigh. I think Leigh were in a position where they could have just kept purring on that. They were in great form, moving forward well. Warrington almost needed to have a reset. And that's something for me that is a bit of a narrative here. I might get into that on Captain's Run, I don't know. But, for me, Leigh, momentum in sport is huge. I don't think Leigh would have wanted that break. I think they'd have wanted to keep going. because they're in such great form. For Warrington, the reset, just that reset, just to recalibrate, could be a factor. That said, I'm going Leigh 9-17. I just think Leigh at the moment, they're just too. They're on the ascendancy. They're looking up. They've got a genuine challenge, I think, for second. That's where I'm going. The members, they've gone Leigh 9-17. They also went KR 18 plus in the chat. Let's give a few shout outs. John O, Leigh 9-17. Hello, John O, mate. Hope you're well. What else we got in here? Any more in here? Where's all the KR? Yeah, they are Leigh. Dawn Kirby, Leigh 9-17. Simo's gone 9-17 as well. Kev Wobble, Wire 9-17. Go on, Kev, lad. Back your side. We're not. Wire season over after this game, says AD. Well, if it's not this week, it might be the week after. Those end of season tickets are going well. Phil Webster, Leigh 18 plus. Dodd's been sent back to the Queensland club, says Dawn Kirby. Yeah, I think that might have been tongue in cheek by Franny. I hope so. If you're gonna come knocking on our door, Franny, mate, you gotta get your ducks in a row, mate. You know, as Dawn there. Dawn's got a finger to the pulse. Go on, Dawn. You know, it makes sense. Outstanding stuff. Warrington need a break, played every week. As did KR. Yeah, good point, well made. Harrison missing is a big hurt to the Wire. Is he missing? There's a lot of because he came out, didn't he? And he said, first I've heard him injured.
Shoulder injury, but the message on social media was Harrison out for the season.
Yeah. That makes no sense. I say I have been on holiday. I've tried to down tool, so I'm not as into the details as I normally will. Normal service resume next week with that. But the lad needed a break. What can I say? But, hey, there you go. Michael Carter, hello Michael, on Facebook. Try and join us on YouTube next week, mate. If you could, anybody who's on Facebook, please try and get over to YouTube. And if you're watching on LinkedIn for the first time, I'm not sure if you can do comments during the show or not. If you are watching us now on LinkedIn, just do something in the comments, see if it comes up on my screen. Be nice to know if that works or if that doesn't work. But yeah, if you're watching on LinkedIn, again, YouTube every Tuesday, 8 o'clock. That is our preferred channel for you to watch the show. We hope you're enjoying your first sample of Super League Raw Weekly. Right, we then come to the last game. St. Helens taking on the Castleford Tigers. Tigers, of course, beating Warrington last time out. Let's not forget that. Saints, very as is, the likes of Leeds FC, Warrington. They are in that mix of teams. You don't know what you're getting one week from the next. They are a bit up and down, Saints. They haven't had that level of consistency, especially against the top sides, but against the likes of your Castlefords, etc., they tend to have been picking up more wins than not. Reggie, I'll start with you this time. Castleford going to Saints, week off, had a week off with that win under the belt, which is good for morale. Can they go and back it up?
It's a great confidence boost to beating Warrington at home, isn't it? Can they back it up? No, unfortunately, I don't think so. I think probably the breaks come at the right time for Saints as well. I think Saints 18 plus. I think it was a decent win against a very kind of out of sorts. Let's not forget that had Renchi passed that ball to Sneed, it could have been a very different story at the Jungle. But that's history now. Warrington were out of sorts. Castleford played really. That's not to take anything away from the way Castleford played, but I just think Saints will have too much 18 plus.
Well, we've got Stephen Rudge in the chat. Of course, Steve has been sampling Final Whistle. We've fully enjoyed his company as well on a Sunday night as part of the Final Whistle crew. And he's saying cast 1 to 8, please. I wonder why he's saying that as a Wakefield fan. Good to have your company, Steve. Well done, mate. Steph, over to you. Of course, you saw Saints in close quarters a couple of weeks back. Is this the time now for Saints to maybe just start to get going? If they don't start to get going now, it's fair to say that their season might just peter out. They need to start showing something soon. Is this the start of that for you? Oh, you're on mute, son. Is he?
Sorry, apologies. I wouldn't say it's time for Saints to get going. They've been going for the last 6 weeks. They've lost 1 from 6.
Yeah, but not against quality opposition. I mean, in terms of getting some real quality momentum.
Oh, yeah, no. I was going
My
to...
apologies. Carry on, sir.
Yeah, so I think Saints have built momentum. They were great against Leigh. I don't think Saints were really poor against Leigh. Far from it. It was a really tight game against two sides who I think are both playoff teams. But Saints are really kicking on now. Even in that loss against Leigh, they will take a lot of confidence from that game that they can compete with some of the better sides in Super League. Another home game for them as well, which is important. And what you can what I sensed from that St Helens crowd was there was that belief back again in that team. There was the positivity, and I think that'll really come into that stadium on Friday night. I think they're going to absolutely batter Cass. I think it'll be an absolute landslide. I'm not going to go 18. I'm going to go 30.
Wow. There's no extra points for that. Just to let you know, I know you want to win the league, but there's no extra points for getting a new.
I just want to put it on record. That's what I think.
Okay, it's on record. It's noted.
Wow.
It's noted. It's also noted that you want me on mute when you're speaking. Joel, right over to you, mate. Cass against Saints. Your thoughts?
Yeah, it's interesting listening to what everyone's got thinking about it. It's a tough one, this, because Cass can put in a performance on the day. I don't think it's going to be that day. But they've got it in them to do it. The thing is, Saints, once again, they're in that sticky situation where, you know, they need to be putting statement wins out against clubs like Cass and the likes that are around them. And this is going to be an unfortunate one of them when you rest players like the quality that they have in Saints. You know, usually it's going to be a pretty bad day in the office for any opposition going up against them. Though Cass will put a fight, so I'm going to go 9-17 for Saints. But there's a very big possibility, as Steph said, that it could be a 30 plus.
I'm going to say it's 18 plus. In the chat, Dave Smith's gone Cass 1-8. We've got Craig Forth saying Saints 9-17. Graham Smith, hello Graham, that's a new name on me. Hart says Cass 1-8. Heady's saying Saints 9-17. Kev Wall says they can't play wire every week in terms of Cass, so he's expecting a defeat. Saints only get 18 plus versus Salford 20 times a season, says Tom. That's a bit unkind. Or not. Phil Webster, Saints 9-17. Gary Rowe, Saints 18 plus. Kev Wall, 18 plus. Mark Smith, hello to you. Saints 9-17. Dawn Kirby, the same. Ben Macklin, 18 plus. Right, great stuff. That's another Super League roll-up. On the titles, we're going to do top performers up to the current day. We'll go out as normal. The members, yes, tomorrow night it's your social club. That's back as up. Well, that's never gone away. You've got your social club tomorrow. Captain's Run on Thursday, as always. We're going to be looking like we're doing a live from Chateau Sale on Friday. That'd be nice. In the Sheds returns for round number 20 over the weekend as well. And, of course, for you members, round unpacked. If you're not a member, you're missing out on so much, not just in terms of the content that we provide, but also the community that we are developing. You want to be a part of this, get over to our website, www.superleagueraw.com, go to memberships, see what you're missing. We will be back next Tuesday, 8 p.m. for Super League Raw Weekly. You can't beat a bit of weekly. We're back, folks, from now until the end of the season. Bye now. Here are your top performers after 19.5 rounds of the Betfred Super League. The top try scorer is still Jay Field of the Wing Warriors on 18. The most try assists have still come from Lachlan Lamb, he's on 27. Whilst the most meters made are Lockie Miller of the Leeds Rhinos, 3,025. The most clean breaks have come from Mikey Lewis of Hull KR, 23. Whilst the top tackler is still Oliver Partington, Catalan Dragons, 827. The top tackle buster taking over from Tessie New is Lockie Miller of the Leeds Rhinos, 120. Whilst the most hard meters down the middle have come from Alex Walmsley of St Helens, 2,283. The most offloads have come from Tarnay Milne of the Huddersfield Giants, he's on 38. And finally, the most goals have come from Arthur Borg of the Robins on 65. These are your top performers after 19.5 rounds of the Betfred Super League.